Wow, here we are in front of the iconic Homestead, home to Cushing for like over 40 years. Guess what? Josh and I decided to go and eat in there today. Check it out, some of the local flavor and the biscuits and gravy and pancakes, if I might add. So let's go inside and see what it's all about. Oh, and look, there's always such good service.
No, this is good. Thank you.
Man, I tell you what. Well, you know, Josh and I, we didn't feel much like working in the studio. We thought, what would it be like if we just went to a local eatery, somewhere iconic, and shot a little bit of this and that. So I'm glad you can kind of pop in and say hi.
Hey, my pleasure. Welcome.
Well, thank you, and thanks for having us here at the Homestead. And of course, we want to mention the Styrian in the same breath, but we were hungry for breakfast, and
Absolutely.
we knew this was the best place in town to get that.
This is also, you know, we refer to it as Trudy's place.
Yes, and let's talk about that. That happened, what year was that, Chris? Because I came to it. I'm thinking maybe 2007, 2008.
Sounds about right.
And surprised her.
At her 40th year of service, we decided we're going to recognize Trudy for those wonderful 40 years, and so we put a tag on the restaurant and call it Trudy's Place. So it's the Homestead Family Restaurant / Trudy's Place.
Well, and before we leave out of here today, we'll make sure and get a shot of that along with this iconic sign since 1953.
Absolutely.
You know, Josh was born in 1994, Chris, and he was like bragging, oh, this has been here all my life. I was like, let me surprise you, Josh. It's been here since before I was born.
Well, I can remember my birth year because that happens to be 1953. So anytime I need help remembering.
That's right. You're from class of 1971, isn't it?
That's correct.
Hey, alumni, big shout out to any of them that are watching the show. Well, Chris, what does it take to run a business for 60 plus years?
It takes good leadership from people like Trudy Cooper. And not only leadership, but devotion to her work and her family, which is her customers.
Yes, and I have noticed in here while we were eating today, and I've noticed it at other times when I eat in here, that they know everybody that comes in. They know what they want. They immediately take it to them. And if you are new to the Homestead, the service is outstanding just as well.
Well, customer and service, you know, is our trademark.
Hand in hand.
Yeah, and quality and service, I mean,
and
to the customer.
Food.
Well, but the customer is the boss. Customer's the boss. And,
yes.
And without them, we wouldn't be here the last 60 years. So much appreciation to our customers for their devotion and loyalty to our business.
Well, Chris, I want to ask you, what, if you could name it, would be your favorite memory, whether it be from a child or even while you've been running the businesses of the Homestead and also the Styrian? What's your favorite memory of the Homestead?
Oh, I think the old drive-through, which was actually where we're sitting now. The old drive-through and the walk up. And there's plenty of photos in here that depict those days. That was certainly back when it was the Dairy Hut.
Yes.
Soft ice cream,
and it was
hamburgers,
dipped in the chocolate, the hard shell chocolate.
The old dip cones.
Yes. And I think that's probably a lot of people's favorite memory is when you could drive through here or walk up on a hot summer day and get that cone, and then you hurry and try to eat it before it starts melting. And those are good times. That's a great memory.
And the other memories would certainly be the people that we've been blessed to work with.
Yes.
You know, from my aunt Beulah Pope was one of the early managers, on through to Trudy Cooper today, and all the many people that have that we've been able to be associated with, not only from a customer standpoint, but from a co-worker standpoint as well.
Well, Chris, what is it like growing up in a family where restaurants are the occupation for the family? I mean, you feel like you could just come in at any point and, I don't know, grab a piece of chicken or make that ice cream cone, or were you told not to do that? I'm curious about that.
It's a lifetime of hard work, what it is, and you better be able to do all parts of it, from cooking to prepping to dishwashing to handyman fixer. whatever the needs may
Whatever
be.
it takes to run the business. Did you ever just come in after school and sneak a little something here and there when the cooks weren't looking?
Oh, or a biscuit,
Yeah, oh.
maybe, and sausage of a morning. During high school, mine was the number 2. Do you remember what the number 2 was? A mayonnaise, lettuce, tomato hamburger.
Yes.
So I ate a lot of number
You're taking
2s.
me back. Now there was footlongs.
Footlongs.
You know,
right.
Chris, one of my favorite memories of both here and the Styrian are those footlongs.
Being able to remember those the menu numbers, because things used to be numbered. So that
Yes.
that footlong was a
Yes.
number 8.
Wow.
Chicken salad
I
number
love
11.
this.
Steak sandwich number 14. You know, it's fun to be able to remember those
That
types of
certainly
things.
is. And you know, there were so many people that have worked at the Homestead and at the Styrian both. It's just quite a list. And I know they probably remember a lot of those numbers too, you know, the number 8 and what have you. How fun.
Of course, we're saddened by Sean Kelly's death recently,
Yes.
but Sean and I had many fond
Yes.
memories of his experiences. He started here at the Dairy Hut as a dishwasher, and then he was a car hop at the Styrian. And
Isn't it? Well, it's fun for me to think about Sean Kelly being a car hop.
absolutely, absolutely.
I wonder if he ever goofed anything up, or was he a pretty good worker?
I think he was pretty good. You think maybe he was learning? He was in the infant stages of learning Chauncey back then, and
Yes.
maybe experimented with it as he hopped cars. Who knows?
Yeah, no telling
knows?
what that guy was doing. And yes,
Who knows?
the community still is feeling the bite from that. But we've got to get behind our local radio station and support it. It's
Absolutely.
iconic, just like the Homestead and the Styrian as well. 1953, I believe, for the radio station as well.
Exactly.
So these are the iconic places here in Cushing. And that's part of why Josh and I chose to be here today, because we were just sitting around thinking it would be fun to go do a segment somewhere, but you got to start with that iconic history of Cushing and preserve these things. You know, the older I get, the more I think about we need to preserve our history. So I'm
thanks.
so happy you could come in.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah, we were kind of hoping your dad would be here today.
Well, he's en route, so you might still catch him.
Oh, excellent. I would
Yeah.
love nothing more but to get Oliver
To get
in
the
for just a
founder
little-
that started it would be amazing.
The man himself.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, I know you've got a lot to do.
Yes.
You probably have to scurry on off to the Styrian for lunch.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks for coming.
Thank
and
you.
visiting
Have a good
with us.
day.
Man, that was great. And thanks for having the best food, home cooking in town.
Breakfast time anytime.
Anytime, anytime. Oh yeah, you can even sleep a little after the meal if no one catches you.
Thanks.
Well, just finished visiting with Chris Kinsey, and here you are, Trudy. Trudy on the doors, Trudy in my seat, looking at me. Trudy, you are iconic to this place just as well as the Kinseys are, so much so that the doors now say Trudy's place. Trudy, how did you feel when you got that surprise of the doors?
Oh, that was one of the greatest happenings that could be. I cannot believe how absolutely dumbfounded I was. Even that was so nice to know that. And I had worked here at that time, I think, that was for my 40th year. But it was quite a surprise, it really was.
Well, I remember being here and being so excited to watch you as they unveiled those doors and it said Trudy's place. That was so much fun.
Yes, it was.
You know, Trudy, here in Cushing, we have a lot of iconic places. And in thinking about these iconic places, I think it's time to really start registering those in our history books, so to speak. And that's part of the reason why we came in for breakfast today.
Yes.
Because what is more iconic than the Dairy Hut / Homestead / Trudy's place?
Yes.
Absolutely. Now, Trudy, back when you started, what year was it?
1970.
And Trudy, what was things like here at the Homestead or at those days Dairy Hut when you started?
Well, I think like our breakfast special that is $4.99 now, I think then was like 95 cents.
Okay, pricing. Yeah.
I can remember one of our very first customers was Mr. White, and his son lived next door. His son I think was a beauty operator, and then he lived next door to the beauty shop. and he was a real bad diabetic. And every week, once a week, he could have sweets. And I don't remember what day it was then, but every week he came over on that day and had pancakes because he could have real syrup.
Oh.
I'll never forget. Just one of the first things that. But there has been so many lovely customers over the years, Donna. It's just, it's unreal. And Phyllis and Oliver are such good bosses. And I just, this is just like home to me. I never did have any children, so this has just been home. And I was married to someone that was on the road all the time, So I just devoted all my time here. Liked to work 7 days a week. It didn't matter to me. I just grew with the place. Sure did.
Well, what was your favorite item over the years on the menu that they don't have on the menu today? Let's do it that way
That's
first.
not on the menu today? Oh, golly. I think the waffle that had all the fruit on it, and now I can't even think of the name of it, Heavenly Delight.
Oh.
And Oliver's wife Phyllis is the one that started that brought that Heavenly Delight. My favorite thing on the menu now is the club sandwich because it was after my mama Cody, and she worked here for 29 years.
Really?
Until she got sick, and so they put that Cody's Club on there, and that's after her.
I did not realize that. Well, Trudy, I have so enjoyed you letting us come in this morning and eat breakfast and visit. I'm so excited to preserve the homestead on film so that we can watch this really forever. I think it's so exciting.
Well, thank you, Donna. We appreciate you
Well,
too.
you're welcome, but I don't know who's more excited. I think it's me though. Well, and the breakfast I had dictating my excitement. It was yummy. Well, Trudy, thank you so much.
Thank you, babe. Love you much.
Love you. Well, there you have it at the homestead. Stay with us because we'll be right back with more of Donna and Friends.